Fuck. I look a mess, but I got fired on the spot. Have no plan, have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm in total faith that the universe did this to catapult me in the direction that I need to be. Just doing this so I can document this year. It's just crazy. I didn't think that this was gonna happen, but it did, unfortunately, due to the organization that I was working for not being able to fund as many employees and whatnot. But let's just see where life takes me. I don't know if I should go back to school, but follow to document.
How about you follow to document what's really going on with the U.S. economy? Now, we just got the Challenger report fresh off the press that indicates we are, in fact, in recession, as the quarterly job cuts are the second highest going all the way back to 1989, with Q1 of 2009 being the only quarter that had higher job cuts. Again, you guys, Q1 of 2009 during the worst global financial crisis of my lifetime. The report is also going to highlight that most of the job cuts are government job cuts. Now, we've been pointing out and warning you that government job openings and hirings are recessionary indicators. And don't forget, over the past 4 years, the government has been leading the labor market in jobs. We don't want that. We need private mom and pop businesses to thrive, not the government. But that's not the reality over the last 4 years. As a result, the labor market is unraveling at a rate never seen before, at least to me. And according to mainstream media, we aren't even in recession yet. Well, you guys, we're here today to let you guys know we are, in fact, in recession. And happy Friday evening. Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. You guys already know this video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Good evening, Mitch Vexler. Happy Friday, sir. How are you?
Good. The market today, early this morning, started taking a nosedive. And the unemployment report came out at 7:30 this morning. So all of these things that we're discussing here are going to be ramifications of both those issues.
I mean, it's looking really, really recessionary out there, Mitch, and they can no longer hide that from the public. I mean, my God, mainstream has absolutely failed America over the last 3 to 4 years. Either way, we're going to listen to one TikTok, and then I want to get some questions on whether or not you believe, and let's ask the question, why aren't these corporations loyal to their employees? Take a listen to this.
I was the type of person to cry when I got fired. I found out today I'm not. Yeah, I'm angry. Not a tear in sight. I am 1 month shy of 18 years of service, and I got fired today. Yeah, not one blip on my record in 18 years. And I'm pretty sure, not 100%, I haven't received my official letter yet, but I'm pretty sure it's because of my TikToks. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great evening. I will be fine. I will be fine, but I'm angry.
18 years, that grown woman made a couple TikTok videos. She thinks that her employer has seen that. Funny that you've actually been warning about that very thing, not to do TikTok videos, because your employer will see that. But my first question, Mitch, and I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to this, why aren't corporations loyal to their employees?
There's two sides to the coin, one of which is why employees aren't trained and understand that jobs exist because a company has to make a profit. Other side of the coin is the company has to make a profit. When things get tough, employees, be it bad employees or good employees, unfortunately get jettisoned. So then the big issue is, why are these things happening? And as we discussed the other day, the business cycles are coming faster and faster, and that's due to the fraud in the system. So you have 3 legs of that particular issue, and they're all connected. The fraud is, in reality, is the net result of A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. The fraud in reality is why people are getting laid off. They just can't articulate it. And then doing these stupid TikTok videos does nobody any good. I mean, you can clearly see that. This is a lady who's got 18 years, okay? Why did she do it? Revenge. No other reason. She's mad. She's pissed. That's fine. But you don't want to put out, well, I put a revenge video out against my employer, because the next employer is going to look at that maybe and say, well, wait a minute here. This is something maybe is a little too toxic for my company. It's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, because corporations have to make money. But I just want people to understand that their loyalties to a corporation may be misplaced. So Mitch, and the other day we showed a video of the teacher of the year that got laid off, that lady, 18 years. I mean, for TikTok video stuff, my social media after work, you know what I mean? Do you think it's dumb these days for employees to be so loyal to their corporations that they stop trying to advance their careers? Is it stupid to be loyal as an employee to a corporation?
It doesn't help. I mean, the reality is no one has a permanent job, and that includes CEOs. CEOs can be fired too. Nothing is permanent in life, and that has to be taken into account. And remember, employees are often out shopping for jobs because they may not like the job that they're in. So the knife cuts both ways. But the idea, well, I've been here for 18 years and I'm going to be here for the rest of my life, it's a fantasy. It's a wish. It may be true, but the amount of people that can actually have that occur in their life are actually very few. This economic cycles prohibit it, and stupidity prohibits it. You really, if you're a corporation and you've got a really good employee, 2008 came along, 2009 came along, it was pretty rough. I carried the entire staff. I refused to let them go. And a good corporation will not let that staff go, because how much is it going to cost to replace that staff? It's like saying, well, I can just go and replace a good architect. No, you can't, because the world is full of bad architects. And that's a problem. So it's bad for the company too. Like I said, it really is a three-legged stool. None of this is good, and it's going to get worse. And that's the problem. The economic cycle is here. We've been saying it's coming. We've been saying this has been a recession for at least 2 years. And now the truth is starting to surface, and it's surfacing at greased lightning speed. When you take a look at what the market is doing, go and look what the market did Friday morning. Straight up nosedive, and that's following an already 10% down move. So this is going to get rough. And as our numbers are showing, you're looking at a 30% clip before this thing even slows down. So the idea that people aren't going to lose their jobs is wrong. They are, and it's going to get worse. And it's because of the fraud. The fraud has a price, and the world is now waking up and seeing the price. Yep. It should never have happened, but it did.
It did happen, and I hope people will stay awake. And I'm also going to say, doing these videos and reporting this to the viewers, it really reassures me and shows me how important it is that people, if they can, become self-employed. And honestly, you guys, what I've learned about YouTube is YouTube can help any business that you start. And I know there's risk involved in being self-employed, but I've been self-employed almost, not quite, but almost my entire life. You have risk in that, right? There's a lot of pressure on your shoulders, but you don't get bamboozled. You have a lot more control over your income. And that's really, really important. You don't want to be blindsided and have your income stripped away. And speaking of having your income stripped away, let's go into the Challenger report. And I'm going to show you guys 275,000 job cuts in just 1 month. The Challenger report for March 2025, this just came out yesterday, April 3rd. Federal cuts dominate March total. 275,240 announced job cuts. I'm going to read this first paragraph. U.S.-based employers announced 275,000 job cuts in March, a 60% increase from the 172 job cuts 1 month prior. Remember, last month it was insane as well. This is up 205% year over year. March's total is the third highest monthly total ever recorded. The highest monthly total was in April 2020 and May in 2020, but that was during lockdown. So think about that real quick, guys. So far this year, employers have announced, and this is recession, okay? So I know they changed the definition of recession, but now we have the job loss. This is, in my opinion, additional proof positive we're already in recession. In fact, we've been in recession, in my opinion, since 2012. But I'm not going to go there. That's a discussion for another day. So far this year, employers have announced 497,000 job cuts. That's the highest year to date and quarterly total since, here it is, Q1 of 2009, when there was 578,000. You guys, this is absolutely insane. Here's the trajectory of job loss. Does that not look like recession? Remember, you guys, unemployment skyrockets with that trajectory you see on your screen during a recession. So is this not a recession? I want to read 2 paragraphs here. Which industries are cutting the most? Obviously, the government-led sectors and job cuts in March with 216,000, all of which occurred in the federal government. So far this year, the government has cut 279,000 jobs. That's insane. That's an increase of 672% year over year. In March, the second one here is retailers. That's not good. That has to do with consumer spending, right, guys? Mom and pop being able to afford to spend. Retailers announced 11,709 cuts in March and 57,000 in the first quarter, the second leading industry in job cuts this year. The top 5 industries right on the top here, year to date. Number 1 you see is government with, again, 279. Here's the retail. I just went over that, 57. Number 3 is actually technology. Now I put a down arrow because technology job cuts are actually down year over year. But it's interesting because that led job cuts last year, and it's number 3, with number 4 being services. That is also up year over year. Number 5 being financial. That is down year over year, sitting at 15,982. Now look at the month by month totals. So it started really collapsing February and in March. So the job cuts in January were 49,000. Year over year, that was actually down because in 2024 in January, that was at 82. But look at February. It starts to get really crazy. We go from 84,000 job cuts in February of 2024 all the way up to 172,000. Likewise, in March of 2024, all we had, and it's still a lot, 90,000 job cuts. That ballooned up, you guys, to 275,000 job cuts March of 2025. I put collapse because this is the start of the collapse that the public will understand. You and I have already understood that the economy has collapsed because we see that with unaffordability, inflation, greed, fraud, and corruption. The layoff locations, number 1 by far is the District of Columbia. Now I put stars there because I'm going to be watching that housing market. Remember, you guys, if there's massive amounts of layoffs, that should impact the housing market because that should lead to less buying demand and much more distressed selling. But the District of Columbia has already had this year, just year to date, it's not even over yet, 278,000 job cuts in the District of Columbia. That's going to affect the housing market eventually. Job cuts by reason. So the number 1 is obviously DOGE actions. But when we take DOGE out of here, the number 1 is market/economic conditions. Number 2, closing completely. Number 3, restructuring. It all has to do with a crappy economy. This is job cuts by quarter, and this is the one that's really baffling right here. So here's the job cuts in 2025, and go along this column and you'll see we haven't ever had this many job cuts, except right here is the only time, 578,000. Look at that, is the only time out of all of these quarters that we've ever had more job cuts. And this only goes back to 1989 when there was, just put this in perspective, in 1989, there was 9,800 job cuts. So things have changed a little bit. Hiring plans right now, as far as March hiring plans, I don't know who makes this up, but it's sitting at only 13,198. That is the 3rd worst March going back to 2016. Mitch, we have GDP now suggesting that Q1 of 2025 is going to be negative. We have massive government job layoffs. We have the highest quarter going back to 2009 in job cuts. Can we say now with 100% certainty that we're in a, okay, I have to use my words carefully, technical, okay? Technical, like public knows, like the public's gonna, what I mean is say the public's gonna find out, technical recession. Can't we say we are 100% now in recession, going into recession, and the public is about to find that out? Are we 100% in recession?
Using real math, we've been in recession for 2 years. You're just beginning to see the ramifications of the truth coming out. So the answer is, yeah, we're 100% in a recession. It's real. Unfortunately, it's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse because the fraud has been built up for so many years. The lid is going to blow off.
Let me know what you think about this. A lot of people have been blindsided. If you kept your head in the sand, you will be bamboozled. Will mom and pop freak out once they realize that we've been in recession this whole time? Do you think there's going to be a mass pandemonium, or do you think it'll be like, oh, about time? What do you think is going to happen to public perception?
I think there's going to be civil strife. And people have been deluded by the press for so long that if you don't have any savings to withstand a drawdown, that's going to cause problems. So part of telling the truth is you've got to put a social net somehow under those people to help carry this through, not to the extent that they did in COVID, obviously, but these things need to be taken into consideration. What I still haven't heard from anybody is what we've been pounding the table on, which is the fraud, be it the interest on the outstanding debt. That debt and that interest have got to get sliced. And DOGE is doing what DOGE is doing, which is great, but it needs more. We know where there's $5 trillion sitting, and we delivered that document to the DOJ. It's out there. And everybody that's seeing this video has access to that document. It's called the First Amendment to the criminal complaint. Reality is, eventually, like I said the other day, with regard to the school districts, we're back to 1967. And in 1968 is when the riots started. The way to stop that from happening is simply tell the truth and say, okay, fraud has been committed, and this is what we're doing to fix it.
I do like what I'm seeing with DOGE, but I definitely have my concerns. I don't know if this was a rumor about Jamie Dimon being the Treasury Secretary. If that happens, man, hold up, right? Like I'm gonna pump the brakes. Like, whoa, maybe this is so. For me, the jury's still out on what they're doing. I think we should all have that attitude, Mitch, because again, my entire life I've been lied to. So why would I trust the new administration? I do not trust them. I do not trust Musk. But the jury's still out. I haven't made my decision up yet, but so I like what I see. But what I don't like is how every time we get in one of these situations with this over leverage or this greed and this froth, mom and pop take the hit every single time. And like you said, that's very clear when we look at real median income, real median household income. It's barely went up at all over the last 20 to 30 years. The reason why is the money is shifted to the banks. The bailout is not for us. The bailout is for the banks. And I hope people start waking up to the idea that bailouts are really, really bad for us, despite the propaganda that they say, because they'll say, I'm going to bail out the banks for you. I'm going to do it for your 401k. I'm going to do it so you can keep your job. No, man, like we know that that's not true. You take our future wages is what you're doing. But either way, speaking of future wages, we're going to end by watching and listening a TikTok video from a young woman who I'm actually impressed with this woman. Now, she's been working for her employer, you'll hear here, for 5 years, work from home. So I want us to listen to her because she's got a good head on her shoulders. Maybe she was just blindsided because of work from home extravaganza or whatever we'll call that happened. And I want to give this lady advice, but take a listen to what she's saying to people, and then we're going to talk about whether or not she's saying the right things.
I just got let go from my job as part of organizational shifts and return to office. As you guys know, I have been a remote employee for the past 5 years, really since the beginning of the pandemic. And I'm crying not because I'm sad that I got let go. Obviously, the instability of losing an income always sucks. What sucks most about being let go is somebody taking control out of your hands. I always preach internally and here at home that we have got to be the people in the driving seat of our futures, of our careers. And when a company takes that control out of your hands, it sucks because all of a sudden the plan that you had, the roadmap that you were on board for is gone. Now you've got to start over. And this is why you've always got to have a plan B, a plan C, and most importantly, an emergency fund. I am incredibly upset and frustrated. There have been several shifts in the company in this last couple of months that I just knew the writing was on the wall and I knew my time was coming. But the fact that we have an emergency fund, because ultimately that is what matters at the end of the day, is that we have money to pay our mortgage, to pay for our daycare. We have that as a fallback, and I can take time, maybe a week, to just collect my thoughts and put together a strategy for job hunting. Always be prepared for the unexpected, because ultimately companies will always put themselves first. And as much as you want to believe that you're part of the family, you like the people you work with, it's a business transaction. It's a business contract, and you've got to handle it as such. But please know that you are more than your job. You are more than what you do. Have a plan, have an emergency fund. Do not spend more than you need to. Live below your means. We are in strange times. That isn't beside me losing the job, just general messaging. Protect yourselves, treat yourself as a business, and always be looking for better opportunities, because companies would do the same, and they are.
When I listened to her, it was refreshing. I would still be a little concerned if her previous employer saw that. Although, when I listen to it, I think she's pretty much nailing it. I like the safety plan. She's trying to be positive and she's in pain. That shows me courage. But I really think for people like her, Mitch, she seems intelligent to me. She seems like she can think outside the box. I think she needs to be self-employed. I think she needs to figure out what she wants to do to help people become self-employed, start a YouTube up to help her push that business. But what advice can you give this young woman moving forward?
I agree with you. I mean, there's clearly something there, but if everybody who had a job had the opportunity to think, well, I want to be more well-rounded in what I do. And it doesn't matter what you do. You could be an auto mechanic, you could be a body man for a bump shop. The point is, if you're more well-rounded, that in those circumstances, when those things happen, it's going to be that much easier to replace the job or to go and start whatever it is you want to start in life. So the basis is the emergency fund, and we've been pounding the table on that since day one. Then the other issue is be more well-rounded. If you're into gardening, then learn how to garden and be a great gardener, because those are skills that other people would ask you, well, how do you do this and how do you do that? We've, over the years, really for the last 30 some odd years, we do our own in-house landscape design. We do our own in-house irrigation design. It's all done in-house because we learned how to do it. And we were just tired of paying money to people that didn't really know what they were doing. So if you have skills, that's a great thing to keep promoting and keep polishing for the rest of your life. You become that much more well-rounded and that much more in demand. The problem is not many people think like that, and they need to, and that's a failing of the schooling system, right? They don't teach people how to balance a checkbook, and they don't teach people how to think, well, I'm really good at this and I want to go further and I want to be a more well-rounded person. And then a lot of these job issues that are failing wouldn't be failing. People just simply say, great, I'm on to the next one and I'm fully competent. I can go do whatever I want to do. That's the ultimate position.
I hope to see some good updates from that young lady. Now, we're going to get you guys out of here, but first, do not forget to go to the video's description, follow those links, take some of those courses. We made several courses for you guys, whether you're a homeowner and renting or if you own property already, we have something for you. Do not forget to do that. And absolutely do not forget to comment below and like this video. Let us know how we did. Let us know what you learned. And other than that, if you guys are out there just investing in yourselves, which you should be doing, we wish you luck and we hope you win.